Morning, beautiful people. Jumping on to do this video today with you about black sesame oil because I've had a couple of questions, not just one now. There's been a few questions that have asked me about black sesame oil because it seems to be something that's been talked about a lot. And I wanted to let you know how I use it, why I use it, and where my experience with it has come from, so that you can then go and check stuff out for yourself. This could be quite a lengthy video, but we'll just see, because black sesame oil is actually has been used for a really long time. Okay, it's an old, ancient carrier oil, if you like, and it's very, very nourishing for the skin and for the body system. So my experience with black sesame oil has been through the learning and the practicing of Ayurveda. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Ayurveda or even what that word means, I did have a client in my clinic yesterday who was reading the sign outside my door, and she spelt the word to me because she didn't even know what it was. So I'm very aware that what is normal for me may not be normal for you. So Ayurveda means science of life, and it is the ancient Indian medicine system, if you like. So this is Indian as in India, the country, not Indian as in Native American Indian. However, there's also Ayurveda, grounding of Ayurveda in Europe, in a lot of European locations, and a lot of what I talk to you about is also being found through archaeological studies in Egypt as well. So quite broad, okay? And anywhere, if you think about it, anywhere over in the Middle East, they have sesame seeds, right? Black sesame seeds, it's a preferred option because they in one of the books that I've used over the years, they talk about it's a greater volume of impact from the sun, basically. But there's a lot of talk about black sesame seed oil, and I've got a couple of containers here to show you some of the ones that I use. I think the biggest thing with it is to understand that the branding organic may or may not necessarily mean that it's being sourced effectively or consciously. So have a bit of a think about that too. And like I said, just remember, okay, it is a large part of Ayurveda. It is something that has been in that medicine system for a very, very long time. Which means that when you are looking for your sources of black sesame oil, it'll be cold pressed, organic cold pressed black sesame oil. I'm reading off one of the bottles. You want to have a trusted supplier, so I would be looking for shops online or in person that's their business, right? Ayurvedic style stuff, or Indian, or that Middle Eastern side of things. Get things from the source. I don't really know how else to put that. But what I thought I might do to help with this a little bit, right, is basically, to me, black sesame oil is a carrier. It's a carrier oil that I use to combine herbs, and I warm it a little to then apply it to the body. I choose to use it more so in that way because I am often working with a lot of vata, which is a dosha. It is a presentation of things happening within the body, concerns. And one of those concerns that I see quite a lot in the clinic space is dryness. So dry skin, and also dryness of the joints on the inside and things like that, okay? Have a think about that. What do you think that could mean? That could be things that are arthritic. Your joints are dry, right? You want to lubricate, keep everything loose. The other thing that it works to support is that digestive system. If you think about constipation, right? And there are a few different ways that you can use it, and other practitioners use it different ways to me, in that some of them use them for the purative side of it or the clearing side of it. So if you've got a constipation issue, you can have a think about that for yourself. But again, I'm tending to use it as the base oil to assist with the absorption in the body of herbs. Point to note, okay, is that things that get absorbed, things that you put on your skin are absorbed into your body. So if you are experiencing a weight issue, perhaps you already have a predisposition to be quite heavy set, and maybe you're sweating a lot, or you've got acne issues, or you've got issues like that, then using black sesame oil as a carrier or on your skin and things can be classified as contraindicated. Again, understanding that what's normal to me is not really normal to others. Contraindicated just means that it's going to cause you a bit of grief, right? I often talk about contraindication, hiccups, contraindications in comparison to medication. You don't have any issues with medication being stressed out by black sesame, all right? Let's just clear that up. The other way of saying contraindications is a disorder, right? So in the eyes of Ayurveda, or when we're looking at things from a holistic point of view, we want to create balance and ease, calmness within the system. We want to calm the body down, calm the brain down, the mind, calm down the nervous system, just so we operate in a point of happiness and peace, is my understanding of it. And when you have an imbalance, that's when your systems aren't happy, basically, and we want to bring them back to that basis, right? So that's when things are not happy, we would say it is a disorder, all right, rather than dis-ease. It's a disorder, and we'd like to bring things into order, okay? A lot of people like order. Many people don't like chaos and change, so think of things that way, all right? So black sesame is classified as a sweet taste. So this does cross over to Chinese medicine a little bit too. But the sweet taste is earth and water. So for Kapha dosha, Kapha constitution, people that have that, real heavy set, maybe you've got beautiful, thick, luscious hair, you've got deep eyes, you'll tend to have oily skin versus dry skin. And you'll be more plump. Trying to think of the right words to say, right? You're heavy set, yeah, that's different. That's your bone structure. But you're just carrying weight, excess weight. You probably have a slow digestive system, and you are someone who might already be quite methodical and calm, all right? So earth and water, think of dampness. That's your Kapha side of things, right? So this is why the black sesame oil has the property of being cooling. It's a cooling side of things. Examples include, so there's foods and things that do this as well. Other examples include rice, milk, wheat, candy, sugar, dates, licorice root, red clove, so licorice root and red clove, and slippery elm and peppermint. They're all digestive side of things, right? The actions of black sesame oil and other things that are sweet are to decrease vata and pitta. So that is calming things down, adding oil, adding water, adding lubrication, okay, adding suppleness back in, because vata tends to be quite dry. Pitta, we're cooling it down. Pitta is hot-headed, all right? Pitta is, we're going to take on the world. They tend to be hotter in the body as well. We want to cool it down. If you, as a side note, someone that has asked me about this, I know that they were experiencing strong urinary issues, okay, some burning, all of that sort of stuff, but also really big issues in the digestive section. We're wanting to cool that system down. We'll cool the system down, okay? Cool it down with sweet. And I don't want you to go and eat sugar, but you can use your black sesame oil, all right? Decreases vata and pitta, increases kapha. Adds wholesomeness to the body. There's that suppleness side of things, right? Increases rasa, water and ojas, promotes strength, relieves thirst, creates can create a burning sensation, nourishes and soothes the body, and is cold. So if you think about wheat, rice, milk, candy, sugar, dates, licorice root, unless you've someone who's worked with herbs before, you're probably not going to know that much about licorice roots. Same with red clove. Peppermint, you know about. Peppermint can give you that burning sensation, right? When it's on your skin, you think your skin's burning, but you're not. It's a reaction to the methylation, menthol side of things. I nearly said methylation. That's a different video. And slippery elm. Slippery elm's not burny, but it's herby, okay? Nourish and soothes the body. This is what I'm getting at. The disorder is it increases obesity, causes excess sleep. These are all kapha things, by the way. Obesity causes excess sleep, heaviness and lethargy, loss of appetite, coughing, diabetes, and abnormal growth of muscle. So if you are someone who is, like I said again, on the heavier side of life, black sesame oil is not the one for you to be utilizing. So if you are reading all that stuff out there, or you're seeing Instagram reels, or you're seeing people promoting this as the latest health thing, just remember to sit back in your body and see what's going on. Maybe you've got an imbalance that requires something a little bit different. Now, in terms of Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, a lot of people are like, what does that actually mean? Well, let's do this. Here is a really simple tick box thing, okay, for you. So 11 minutes, this will take about a minute for me to read this out. But this is the human constitution, okay? I'm going back through old notes here. I'm going to say what the aspect is of the constitution, and then you're going to pick one, all right? So just have a think about what you are most likely like. If you are unwell, you may have an imbalance, all right? But just do your best to think about what you're most likely like. So frame, as in the skeletal structure of the body. In Vata, it's thin. In Pitta, it's moderate. And in Kapha, it's thick. Easy way to check that is to look at the size of your wrist, okay? Can you fit your... So I have a Vata frame. Can you fit your fingers all the way around your wrist, okay? Generally, Kapha, you won't be able to because you have quite thick wrists or thick bones, all right? Pitta in the middle. Body weight. Low body weight, moderate body weight, overweight. So Vata tend to be light, thin people. Pitta, moderate in the middle, okay? So I have a Vata Pitta constitution. Kapha, overweight. When you have an imbalance, you may have an overactivity of one, right? So when I was younger, I was quite overweight. So I had a Kapha imbalance, which is obvious to me. Skin. Is your skin dry, rough, cool, brown, black? That's the colouring on it. So more so the dry, the rough, and the coldness. That means Vata, indicates Vata. Is the skin soft, oily, not excessively oily, okay? So soft, oily, warm, fair, red, or yellowish. So a lot of men have that red flush in their skin, their chest, their body is hot, okay? Pitta. Kapha. Kapha tends to have really thick skin, so when they get older, this is fabulous. One of you I know is having issues with thinner skin due to medication impacts. Black sesame oil is actually really good for you to apply to your skin topically, along with a couple of other herbs, because it's going to rejuvenate and nurture the skin and help it to reform or step back into what it was before, at the same time as revisiting the requirement for that medication with your health practitioner. So skin for a Kapha person, thick, oily, and I mean oily, cool to touch. It'd probably be pale or white. So it's that's that pasty, clammy person. They tend not to like the sun, actually. Hair. This is a very old lot of notes. It was okay. But the hair of Vata tends to be dry, kinky, and black. Let's say dry, curly, and black or dark, okay? Pitta is soft, oily, yellow, early grey and red. So if you have a hot head, you tend to go grey really early, sort of how I see it. Or you go bald if you're a man. Kapha, on the other hand, they'll have thick, oily, wavy, dark, or sometimes light hair as well. Remember that Ayurveda is more a Middle East or, you know, that Indian side. I have not observed a lot of people who have that genetic background having light coloured hair. Not a lot anyway. Teeth. Vata, protruded, big and crooked. Gums may be emaciated. Pitta, moderate in size, soft gums, bit yellowish in the teeth. Kapha, strong and white. They have very strong bones, remember, because they're thick set. Eyes. Vata, small, dull, dry, and they tend to be brown or black. Pitta, sharp, penetrating, green, grey or yellow. Yellow is more, and I know you're going to go to jaundice, don't do that. Yellow is more in the colouring, okay? Kapha, big, attractive, blue, thick eyelashes. So big, attractive blue eyes, thick eyelashes. You can be a combination, and you are. You are meant to be a mix of the dosha, okay? And throughout our life, as we age, different aspects drop in. We live in different climates. Different things get triggered. All right, appetite. List continues. This is to help you work out. Appetite for Vata, variable and quite scanty. Pitta, good, excessive and unbearable. Kapha, slow but steady. Taste for Vata, sweet, prefer a sweet taste, a sour taste or a salty. Pitta tends to be more sweet, bitter and astringent. And Kapha, pungent, bitter and astringent. Thirst for Vata is variable. For Pitta, you'll tend to find excessive thirst. Why? Because you're running hot, right? And Kapha, they tend not to be thirsty because they're already watery enough. Elimination, so this is your bowel movement side of things. For Vata, dry, hard, can often be constipated. Pitta, soft, maybe oily and quite loose. And Kapha, thick, oily, heavy, slow. Are you starting to get a picture now of starting to work out, oh yeah, okay, I can see how I may have that sort of trait. Oh no, I've got a bit more of that. This is your mix up. Physical activity for a Vata, very active. Pitta, moderate physical activity. And Kapha, quite lethargic. They necessarily don't really want to get off the couch. So it's really important for a Kapha to get out and do your exercise and really get that cardiac side of things running. But we don't expect you to want to go snowboarding and skiing all day, right? In the mind, Vata, restless and quite active mind. Remember I said that you can have an imbalance of things. So sometimes the wind, which irritates Vata, but the wind and just the environment as a whole outside may make your mind quite restless and really freak it out. But you may be a real heavy-set person. You can vary, all right? The mind for Pitta, aggressive and intelligent. Kapha, calm and slow. Emotional temperament. I have a friend who is very Vata, but her astrological aspects are quite Taurian and meant to be quite calm and slow. So she has to learn that fine balance. Emotional temperament for Vata can be prone to being fearful, may feel insecure and unpredictable emotionally. Pitta, you think about the hot stuff, aggressive, irritable and jealous. Not saying that everyone is, but these are just aspects to help you. Emotional temperament of Kapha is actually quite calm, greedy and attached. So that's the other side of that one. And if you think about that thick, heavy set, think about that with the food, okay? Faith, this is more the spirit side or spirituality side. Ayurveda has a strong component of that, okay? It's the mind, the body and the spirit. The spirit first probably, then the body, then the mind. But in terms of faith, a Vata will be changeable. Pitta can be quite fanatic about their faith, and then Kapha will just be steady. Memory. Vata, recent memory is good, remote memory poor. So short-term memory good, long-term memory may not be so great. Pitta is very sharp, and Kapha slow but prolonged. So you'll tend to find that they have a slow recall, but they'll be able to go way back, right? Dreams. Vata can often have fearful dreams, flying, of jumping, running. Pitta, fiery anger, violence and war. Kapha, watery, river, ocean, lake, swimming, romanticizing. Yeah, Kapha dreaming is a bit Piscean dreaming, off drifting. Yep. Sleep. Scanty and interrupted for Vata, so similar to their eating patterns often. Sleep for Pitta is a little sleep but very sound. And Kapha, heavy and prolonged. You can't wake the dead. Yep, that's almost what your Kapha friend is. Speech. Vata, fast. Pitta, sharp and cutting. So think of that sharp tongue. And quite aggressive. Kapha, slow and monotonous. They've got a lot of wisdom to share. Sometimes they'll be quite slow about it, and that can irritate the other side. Financial status. This is interesting. So in terms of financial status, Vata, poor, spends money quickly or trifles. Pitta, moderate, spends on luxuries. And Kapha is normally rich, money savers, spends a lot on food. Pulse. Now, this is more, so there's 3 pulse points that we check as practitioners. So that's Ayurvedic and Chinese medicine. It's 3 pulse points. For Vata, it will feel a little bit feebly, thready, and may move like a snake. Pitta is moderate, jumping like a frog. They tend to have higher blood pressure, right? Think of that side of things. Kapha, broad, slow, and moves like a swan. To experience characteristics different from one's respective dosha might indicate a derangement of that dosha. These are my notes afterwards. So out of that big list that I just gave you, you probably want to rewatch the video or re-listen and just go through it again. And as I'm going through it, you want to put a V, a P, or a K. So Vata, Pitta, Kapha for what you think that you are. All right. So then what you'll find is at the end, you'll be more one, a bit more of the second. You might be even with 1 and 2, but you generally not to have all 3 even. But if you do, great, try dosha instead of dual dosha. But yeah, just don't get too hung up on it, but that will help you in terms of usage of black sesame seed oil, linking it back to that, right? I just want to check this. So, like I've already mentioned, application of herbs and oils to the skin is a major route for getting medicine into our body, for assisting our body, to helping our nervous system feel calm. We're getting into the cooler months now while I'm doing this video, so I will start to use a lot more black sesame oil combined with some other herbal oils in a treatment called Shirodhara, which is the warm oil over the head. For different dosha, mental dosha in particular, it's a different technique, it's a different time frame. The oil is going to be warmer or a little bit cooler, and then you finish with a head massage. But again, it's absorption through the skin. Black sesame oil with some herbs, especially Brahmi, can be amazing for your cognitive function and your brain. So you can give yourself a head massage. I'll talk about that in a minute. It's helpful not only for local skin problems, but can help in many other conditions, including different Vata disorders, weaknesses of the lungs and the nervous system. Massage with herbal oils is one of the best means of reducing high Vata because it just calms you down. You can also use ghee or sesame oil on the sites of the 7 chakras. That's a whole other, let's not go there. Black sesame seeds oil, Sesamum indicum. There's also another name for it, but we won't worry about that. Vata, Pitta, Kapha works on all tissue elements, particularly the bones. So this is the other reason why I was thinking about this. Really good for my friend and for me, because I have a little bit of pain at the moment in my right upper thigh bone. Doesn't feel to be in the hip joint, it's the upper thigh bone, and it is changing depending on what I do, which means to me that it's a muscular tendon attachment, but it also feels a bit stingy. So little bit bone stuff happening in there. So application for that, and for things like arthritis, topical application, and you can combine it again with some herbs if you want to, or you can just use your black sesame oil, but that's going to help your skin, but it also will help your bones. There is an article in one of the other reference books that I've got that talks about they say animal studies for black sesame oil, but you don't even really need to look at that sort of thing, because you've got thousands and thousands of years of research and evidence basically from ancient medicine systems like Ayurveda. Okay, so again, nutritive, tonic, rejuvenating. It's really good to help with reducing inflammation. Amazing for reducing inflammation. Can be used as a laxative. I talked about that as well, but today's topic is topical application of black sesame oil, really. Good for chronic coughing, weak lungs, chronic constipation, hemorrhoids, dysentery, receding gums, tooth decay, hair loss, weak bones, osteoporosis, emaciation, convalescence. Precautions, obesity, and really high states of pitta as well. You can use it as a decoction, powder, paste, medicated oil. So in my case today, I'm talking to you about medicated oil for topical application to assist you with things like your skin, your hair. I'll also talk to you about oil pulling, so that helps with the gum side of things and to extract toxin through the mucosa of the mouth and the tongue. You can also use the seeds and you can blend them up, or you can combine them with cardamom, which is really, really good. Cardamom and ginger is really nice. Cardamom, ginger, and sesame seeds. But anyway, digressing. Help the tissue, good for yogis. Powdered seeds can also be used externally as a paste. Is there anything else that I want to tell you from this? No. Right, let's pull those notes out of there. What are we in? Winter. So we're moving into earth and water, which is Kapha anyway. Okay, let's get on to it. The majority of the oil that I use comes from Ayurveda. Put it that way so you can see it. Ayurveda. I had a good friend who created this business, this company, and I've just started to work more with Nadine, who's the lady that has it now, because Yasmin passed it on to her when she went. So I get this from that particular company, and this comes in 5 litres. It's just I've got 5 1-litre bottles the last time I ordered. Why? Because I use it so much. Like I said, it's a base oil, carrier oil for a lot of my massages. Every massage actually I use black sesame oil, unless someone's quite heavy set, and I combine the herbals with it for that particular person. But I also use it in the Shiradaras. So it is Shiradaras. It's the base along with the prescriptive herbs that go in for the person that I'm doing it with. So you can get it from Ayurveda. I know that that's a good source. I know that they work really closely with their people that produce it. And then another one more recently, that when I actually went and had my own Shiradara treatment to help calm my busy mind, the lady that I had that done with, she gave me this as a reference. Which is AYUR Organic. Now these guys are actually in Victoria, so that's a good thing, and you can get it from them, manufactured in India as well. So and this is another 5-litre container. Okay, so that's available on the internet. I don't have much of that left, but that's my own personal stuff. Then the other way, because it's so good for skin, is in a face oil. Okay, so you might see some of this stuff online. Black sesame face oil. The face is skin. Cracks me up. I think that because it's going to be anti-aging for your skin, that they're going to sell more of it. Use it on your whole body. So this tiny little bottle, right, it's only 50 mils. It's not going to go very far. This has got other herbs added to it, and you could go down the track of doing this for yourself, right? I know that doTERRA has yarrow pomegranate, so they have yarrow oil combined with pomegranate seed oil. It is so beautiful to touch and silky and smooth. So is this, and you could combine this with a few other things like rosehip, jojoba, sandalwood. If you pitta, sandalwood, amazing for calming you down. And sandalwood is great for the skin, okay? When you're using it on your skin, so this is the next part of it. If you're getting something that's already been designated, organized for face, right? This has been cut, I call it. So it's black sesame oil that's been combined with some rice bran oil, but also the cardamom, vitamin E, rose and geranium. It's thinner, all right? So it's quite thin. You're not going to be able to see this in the video. Maybe you will. Yeah, so I've got it on my finger at the moment. See how it's running down my finger? No worries. That comes straight out of the bottle. So that's quite thin, all right? You can use that on your face. When you're using it on your face, your strokes are going up, all right? Think about that facelift that you want to give yourself. Now, when I use it on the body, I heat it. This is how I do it. I don't make it uber hot, okay? So you've got to be mindful with this. I currently have really good handmade beeswax candles. They run extra hot. But if you are just using the cheap $2 shop candles, they don't burn as hot, all right? So this is an oil burner, old-fashioned oil burner. You'll see my clumpy little bit of cotton wool in there. That's because this is my home one. I can do whatever I like. But I would recommend you get yourself an oil burner. Get yourself some candles. Start looking into some of the better quality candles that are locally made rather than supporting things offshore, just in terms of the cheap manufacturing stuff. Put your oil in your dish. So at the moment I've got some in there, right? Now, this is what I mean by the difference between one that's been cut and that is straight oil. That is the black oil, that black sesame oil. It's not moving very much. Yeah, it runs down my finger because it's already covered in oil, but it's not moving very much, right? It's quite thick. So warming it helps it for absorption and application. So if I was to do a self massage, which I'm going to show you now, and then go and put clothes on, I'll have oily residue on my clothes. This is a very long-winded video. Thanks for hanging in there. So if you are using this on your skin, black sesame oil, straight, because you want to use it to help your skin and your bones. What you do is you massage from the base up. So if you're doing your legs, you're massaging from your toes all the way up. Pay particular attention to joints and fine areas. So I'm going to do this hand. The way that I do that is I've got my warmed oil over here. If you don't warm it, that's okay. You're just going to have to work a bit harder to warm it up, all right? Because it helps with absorption. So with my warmed oil, I'm going to apply it. I'm going to pay particular attention to my knuckles because they're areas that can be a bit squeaky, require extra lubrication. All the knuckles, okay, all the joints. So I'm going in a circular motion around all of the joints on my body. This feels quite nice. I would do this normally in the morning before I do a little bit of sun salutation or a little bit of applicable yoga practice, whatever it is for me. And then I would have a shower. So I have a cold shower when I first get up in the morning. That is not very Ayurvedic. They would get frowned on. However, my body responds really well to it. So I have the cold shower first. And I get myself sorted for the day. Maybe I'll go do some exercise. Then when I come home, I start to do my Abhyanga, or my self massage. Okay, so I'm massaging all the joints. Let's do the little finger. Okay, massaging up. Right, so I've done all of the joints. Same on the foot, right? You're going to get to the point where your toes hook into your next bone. I'm not going to use any technical terms. And then we're going to massage up in between all of those bones, which are, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges, all the way up. And then we're going to get to the wrist joint, or on your foot, it would be your ankle, okay? So when you're doing your foot, you pay particular attention to the top, and then you're going to pay attention to the bottom. Everybody loves this. So on the bottom of the foot, you're going around the pads of the foot, the ball of the foot, right? On your hands, you're going around the pads and the balls of the hands. Then we come down to the top of the foot, and in the center of the foot is the center of the body. So we're going to do nice circular massage in there. Think about the digestive system and everything in your tummy, all that sort of stuff, because that's what's hanging out in the middle of your foot, reflexology side of things. Then you're going to get to your heel. Pay particular attention to the part where the arch of your foot meets your heel. That's where sciatica lives. So you want to move across that, so side to side. All right, give a little bit of a massage in there, and then you're going to go around, massage the heel. So I'm doing my hand, but I'm talking to you about your foot. It's the same process, just a different extremity. Then again to the ankle, or in this case it's the wrist. Crack. All right, massaging all the way up. Now I'm pretty dry, so I need some more oil, right? So massaging in the skin. Feels nice, smells nice, quite herby. And then we get to the knee on the leg, or the ankle, the elbow on the body, on the torso, on our arm. And we're going to pay particular attention. While you're doing this, you want to be paying attention to how your ligaments feel, how your body feels, how your tissue feels, muscle, fat, adipose tissue, whatever you want to call it. How does it feel? This is when you can start to pick up your own lumps and bumps and all those sort of issues, right? And then you're going to work your way up the arm, which on the leg would be up the thigh. Much bigger area. So I tend to work from the inside, circular movement again, and then move around. On the arm, we've got a bicep, which means 2 points, and a tricep, which means 3 points. So you want to be massaging the whole arm. Yep. Then you get into your shoulder. This feels really good after training this morning. I'm going to massage into our shoulder joint. This may take you a while. If you're working on your legs, you want to massage into your hip joints, into your sockets, top of the bones, into the joints. Really look after your body, right? I will do this after this video on the rest of my body. So all done. That body's all done, right? So that leg, that arm is all done. So I come down and off, and then I go up again and all the way off the fingers, right? That's how I use black sesame oil on my body. If I'm using it on my head, I'm going to get my lovely little pot. This oil, this would be full, and I would have some Brahmi in there, especially for me, because I want help with cognitive support, but I also need to calm my mind down. I don't have it super warm because that will aggravate the pitta that is part of my system. I will just have it like lukewarm, oily, running. I get my little cotton ball. Get a cotton ball. This one's been well used, that's why it's full of so much oil. I part my hair down the center, and then I actually squeeze this and run it along the palm, like the center cut, right? And then I will massage out from there. Just remember that you've got an energy center that lives right on the top of your head called your crown chakra. Massaging that is actually a good way to stimulate the mind, but at the same time, pay attention to your scalp, because lumps and bumps in your head can tell you a lot about your body as well. And if you haven't been for a good head massage with a therapist before, go and book in and get one. It's different to getting your head massaged at the hairdressers. Yeah, that feels good, but they're not necessarily paying attention to the cranium or realigning your plates on your head, or yeah, checking all that sort of stuff out. Any final notes for you? Probably not. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you use black sesame oil already. Do you have a preferred supplier? Quite a long video, like I said, so maybe you want to rewatch it a few times. That's up to you. Maybe you don't. But enjoy it. So remember, massage self is most important. Do it daily. If you want to do oil pulling, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Black sesame oil is one that you can use for that. You want to look for one which is quite a good source, because you're putting it into your mouth. But just because you're using it on your skin and not putting it in your mouth doesn't mean that your body's not absorbing it. So just remember that too. Whatever you put on your skin goes into your system. Your body absorbs it, goes into your bloodstream. You are what you eat, where you live, and what you put on. So yeah, oil pulling, maybe we do a separate video on that, but there's heaps, right? Oil pulling is really, really good for gums, great for people that have mouth ulcers, good to help with detoxification, but it's a bit of a journey because for some people it can expedite the issue. So just use your oils on your skin at the moment and look after yourself. I'll see you again soon.